People say that you can learn Korean by listening to K-pop, but nobody ever told me that it would feel like decoding ancient poetry. Hey guys, welcome back to my Korean learning journey. Today I am diving into a myth I believe that all Korean learners, including yours truly, has fallen for at some point. Can you actually learn Korean from listening to K-pop music? Spoiler alert, it's not as simple as it seems. Let's test the theory of whether you can actually learn Korean by just listening to K-pop out by looking at one of probably the most well-known K-pop groups in the world at this point, BTS. So out of BTS's massive discography? What is a discography? Hello? Out of BTS's massive discography, I have picked what I think is one of the most difficult songs to understand lyrically, which is of course Dynamite. I'm just fucking with you. We're going to be looking at Fake Love. So the first section of Fake Love that I want to deep dive into is the pre-chorus part. 너 위해서라면 날, I said 날 as in day. It is not now. It is 난. 슬퍼도 기분 좋게 수가 있어요. 있었어. Not 있어요. 있어요 does not come into the equation whatsoever. 슬퍼도 기분 좋게 수가 있었어. I feel like these lines definitely sound more natural when you're singing them, but I cannot sing and I'm not going to subject you to the suffering that is my singing. I should probably break it down first. The first verse, I'm just going to butcher for you one more time. 너 위해서라면 난 슬퍼도 기분 좋게 할 수가 있었어. 널 is you. 위에 is for, so for you. 면 is if. If it's for you. 난. I know 슬퍼 is sad. 기분 is like feeling. And 할 수 있어 is I can do something. Based off all the words that I do know, I can sort of figure out that this is saying that if it's for you, I can pretend I'm okay if I'm sad. It translates to if it is for you, I could pretend to be happy even when I was sad. I was thinking that it meant I could pretend to be okay even when I was sad, but it's actually I could pretend to be happy even when I was sad. And then the second line is pretty much an exact repetition of the first. It's just a couple of words that change. So it's 너 위해서라면 난 아파도 강한 척 할 수가 있었어. 아파도 instead of 슬퍼도 and 강한 instead of 기분. My best guess based off the words that I do know is that it's saying for you I could pretend to be okay even though I'm hurt, because 아파 is hurt is my best guess. I got the if it's for you part correct, but again, the second verse is saying I could pretend to be strong even if it hurts. And then we can move on to the third one, which I thought, just based off of 사랑만으로, it was love is perfect on its own, but it translates actually to I wish that love would be perfect with love alone. I was right that 사랑만으로 is love alone, like love on its own, and I was right with perfect. The rest was wrong. I think that's because I missed off the 길 at the end, the 완벽하길, which means I wish / may, and that completely changes the meaning of the sentence actually. So just because I missed that little 길 at the end, I completely misinterpreted the line. The next line is 내 모든 약점들은 다 숨겨지길. So I actually know from the line before this one that they have the same sentence ending. They both end in that gil. And I learned from the line before that that changes the sentence to being something that the person who's saying it wishes was true or wishes for, or maybe. I'm not sure what 약점 is. The following word is da, which is all. I don't really understand a lot of this sentence, to be honest with you. I can only figure out that they're saying that they wish all of something they have is true. So it translates to, I wish all my weaknesses be hidden. So I now know that 약점들은 is referring to weaknesses. And to break it down further, 모든 is also all. So it says all twice. It's so weird because as I'm going through these line by line, I can hear the verses of the BTS members in my head. It's just so funny to me because I've been singing this song wrong my whole life. My whole life? Not my whole life. That's an exaggeration. There was me listening to BTS thinking that I was learning Korean, and really I was just vibing this whole time. And then the last line is 이루어지지 않은 꿈속에서 피할 수 없는 키웠어. Not 키워요. That's cute. 피할 수 없는 것을 키웠어. 이루어지지, I have no idea on. Putting that out there straight away. I know 꿈 is dream, and I know 에서 is, it's a location marker inside a dream. And 것을 I know is flowers. 키웠어. Ki is tall. I don't think it's saying a tall flower, but I know that ki is height. Oh, could it also be grow? So it's something about growing a flower in a dream, and that's about all I've got. I'm gonna change that to can't grow a flower in a dream because of the 수없는. So it translates to, in a dream that cannot come true, I grew a flower that cannot bloom. Well, I was never gonna get that. I managed to understand grow from context clues, but that was about it. The rest was pretty much wrong. Oh, I got in a dream correct too. I've never heard 이루어지지. 이루어지지 않은, which is that cannot come true. I didn't understand 피어, which is blooming. 피어다 is to bloom. It changed the whole sentence. That's a lot of vocab that I need to review. But yeah, first verse done. Nice. We will move on to RM's verse, which, not gonna lie, I'm absolutely dreading. I think this is always the case with any BTS song, but the rap parts in particular are always really difficult to understand. Not just because they're rapping, which already makes it more difficult, but the fact that the rap parts tend to be even more poetic, I think, than the singing parts, the vocal parts. We're in for a bumpy ride, folks. Starts off promising because he starts it in English, so...
Honey, you've got a big storm coming.
Why are you sad? I don't know. And then he says 난 몰라, so he just repeats I don't know, but in Korean. See, I know a little bit of this because of the music video, because he says 어서 and he like does a motion where he like pulls at the corner of his mouth, so smile, I think, and then he says 사랑해 말아봐, so he says I think smile and tell me you love me. The translation is try smiling, laughing, and try saying I love you, because of the 봐 bit. 나를 봐, 나조차도 모르나. 나를 봐 is look at me. 나조차도. Look at me and then something else to me. Oh damn, that's dark. I did get 나를 봐 right, which is look at me, but I didn't get the second part. Me who even I gave up on. I didn't actually know the lyrics were that dark to this song, because the song itself sounds, well, I guess fake love, but I don't know, it doesn't sound that deep. I know 버리다 is to throw away. I just didn't recognize 버린 because I've never heard it referred to as an adjective before. I've been jamming out to this song this whole time. 너조차 이해할 수 없는 나. So 너조차 is the same word as the line before, 너조차 is even you. What's like poetic? I'm gonna try and think of things that are poetic. It's not can't love me because it's not 사랑. What's like related to relationships? Could be trust. Trust me? Actually no, what's trust? Trust doesn't... I don't know. The line translates to me who even you can't understand. 이해할 is understand. 낯서다 하네. It translates to you say I'm unfamiliar. You say I'm unfamiliar. So 낯서다 is unfamiliar or not used to. So 낯서다 하네 is you say I'm unfamiliar. 네가 좋아하는. Where did I get 하는 from? It's not that. It's 좋아하던. 네가 좋아하던. I went to say 좋아하는 out of habit. 나로 변한 내가. So the whole verse up until now has been all negatives, right? So it wouldn't make sense all of a sudden to be like speaking about something that they like about him. That wouldn't make sense in context, right? In which case, maybe the sentence is referring to something that they used to like about him that they don't like now. Maybe. Okay, so it translates to me who changed into someone you liked. So I was only correct on the fact that it was a negative statement. 연한, the word that I didn't understand, is changed. 좋아하던 is used to. The don part means used to. Moving on to the next one. 아니라 하네. 아니 is no. And I know from a couple lines before this that 하네 is said. So said no. You said no.
That is not correct.
It's not said, it's say, like present tense. 아니라 하네. You say no. 예전에 네가 잘 알고 있던 내가. 네가 잘 알고 used to know well. I feel like I do get that. Actually, I just need to use my brain, which is difficult for me. I think this means me who you used to know well in the past. So the translation is me who you used to know so well long ago. 아니긴 뭐가 아니야 난 눈 멀었어. I think the first part, the 아니긴 뭐가 아니야, I think it's no, what do you mean no? 난 눈 멀었어. I don't know, it's not my eyes were closed, because closed isn't 몰랐어. I got the first part right, what do you mean no? But the second part is 난 눈 멀었어, and that means I was blind. 눈 멀었어. 멀었어 is to be far, so it's an idiom to mean I was blind. And then the last line is 사랑은 뭐가 사랑? Love what love? Okay, so I finished looking at the lyrics and translating them into English. Okay, so why is learning Korean from K-pop? What did I say? Why is learning Korean from K-pop so tricky? First off, there is hardly any grammar structure in K-pop lyrics. Subjects, particles, verb endings, these are often dropped to help the lyrics flow better. In a lot of cases, K-pop artists use a lot of slang and expressions that you won't have probably learned. There's also speed and the way that these artists pronounce the words themselves. A lot of K-pop groups these days have rappers as part of their group, and obviously trying to understand Korean rap is incredibly difficult because of how fast they're rapping. Also, artists will slur a lot and stylize their words a lot. It makes actually hearing certain words really difficult, and a lot of double meanings that require cultural context. So all of these things combined actually makes it really difficult to learn Korean from just K-pop alone. And honestly, most of this time that I was listening to K-pop myself, I thought that I could just listen to Korean music, listen to Korean lyrics, and my brain would just magically absorb the Korean language. Unfortunately, that is just not how language learning works. I wish that it was. It would make learning Korean so much easier for me. So yeah, all this time I thought I was listening to BTS. I thought I was learning Korean when I was actually just vibing. So let's talk about what actually works when learning Korean through K-pop, because it's not completely useless, of course. Although, as I mentioned, it can be hard to understand sometimes, listening to K-pop does still mean that you are improving your listening skills when it comes to Korean. You can still obviously pick up on words that are being said. Also, you hear natural pronunciation, you hear how Korean natives pronounce words in these songs. As I highlighted when I was going through the lyrics of Fake Love, you also just get exposed to a lot of new vocabulary words through listening to K-pop. There's a lot of words today that I learned that I didn't know before. And honestly, it can just help to keep you motivated. If K-pop is something that you really enjoy listening to, then it's a good resource, I think, to get that listening practice in, and also to do an exercise like I did today. Which brings me on to how I recommend that you use K-pop to learn Korean. Like I did today, I feel like you should really take a song that you really enjoy, pick a few lines from the song, or honestly, if you have the time and you have the willpower, then you can just look at the song in its entirety if you want to, and just go through line by line and break it down and see how much you can understand or work out in context, and what words you don't know, just look those up and add them to your vocab list for you to study at a later date. And of course, what can also help is if you come across a new vocab word and you add it to your vocab list, it can also help to go and then find another resource that uses that same vocab, so that you can get even more example sentences and see in what cases those vocabulary words are often used. So ultimately, the truth is that K-pop alone will not teach you Korean. It is not best to use as your primary learning resource, but it is a good thing to supplement your primary resources when it comes to learning Korean. It can definitely add some further context and just help you improve your listening skills. It can be a powerful tool to use if you use it in the right way. You have to learn the language in context, and you have to do a lot of vocab memorization and vocab repetition. So I use a lot of other resources besides just K-pop, of course. I have my primary learning resources like TTMIK. I also use obviously online resources, textbooks, all of that good stuff. And then I just use K-pop as a way of supplementing these things. I think it's best to view K-pop as like a little challenge, a little puzzle that you can try and figure out the lyrics and the meaning of the lyrics. Let me know in the comments, have you ever tried learning Korean with K-pop before? And let me know what is the wildest lyric that you've come across that left you completely confused by. Don't forget to drop a like on this video, or your Korean pronunciation will be as bad as mine is. Sorry, I shouldn't threaten you with that, I feel kind of bad. Either way, thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe if you enjoyed, so that you don't miss any more Korean learning content from me. And I will see you here again next time, still struggling my way through Korean, probably. Annyeong!